Star Wars Outlaws on Steam is a colossal failure, guys. So the first week on Steam, it's launch week, they didn't even manage to hit over 2,492 concurrent players, guys. This is done. It's cooked. All right, who's ready? Who needs a plate? You need a plate? Serve yourself. This thing is cooked. Dinner's ready. Star Wars Outlaws is a colossal failure. There's no way that Ubisoft is going to make its money back. Remember just the other day, one of the head honchos at Ubisoft said games have to make 10 million in sales to make their money back. There ain't no way in hell Star Wars Outlaws has made its money back. And we've been covering this game since it first came out. We've talked about all the controversies, all the bullshit aside. I even streamed it and gave my thoughts on video about Star Wars Outlaws. And as far as the game goes, it's an Ubisoft game. It's not bad, but it's not great. It's forgettable. And this game struggled to sell 1 million copies in its first launch month on console. It didn't even sell 1 million. Now, apparently, it looks like it didn't even sell another 1 million when it came onto Steam. So you can see right now there's 1,636 players playing the game at this moment. In the last 24 hours, there was only 1,718. And then the all-time peak was 2,492. Now, while this is better than Concord, while this is better than Dustborn, while it's better than a lot of indie games, this is an Ubisoft title. This is a third-party AAA video game with Star Wars attached to it. Star Wars, one of the biggest franchises in the world. When you think of nerd culture, Star Wars, Star Trek, Harry Potter, Disney in general, Marvel, DC, it's up there. It is up there. But this game had absolutely zero to do with Star Wars, except the odd legacy character here or there that they kind of downplayed and nerfed, right? None of the OG Star Wars source material matters to this modern audience who makes this game. Did you know the lead writer or one of the head writers made Kay Vess, who's the female protagonist, with the intent of making him a female Han Solo because Han Solo was their favorite character growing up as a little girl, but they felt they couldn't relate because he was a man. When you come into video game development thinking of bullshit like that, having some kind of message, some kind of like activism to fulfill in the fucking story, it's going to fail, guys. Those days are over. And these are the numbers that you get when you do that bullcrap, when you do all of that. So here's Park Place talking about it. Star Wars Outlaws fails to hit 2,500 concurrent players in its first weekend on Steam. And again, why did they separate the Steam release from the console release anyway? It should have just came all out. By the time it came out on Steam this last week, people forgot about this game. Even if it had a new storyline expansion added to it, people have moved on, all right? So it said Star Wars Outlaws had a chance to reach new players and pull developer Ubisoft out of the red when it released last week on Steam, and it failed. Ubisoft is losing money, guys. I think they're going to be sold here really soon. So this says, the deeply unpopular Star Wars title failed to draw a massive PC audience, resulting in a concurrent player count in its debut weekend that fell short of 2,500 players worldwide. This would be a terrible showing for any AAA title, but it's even worse for a major Star Wars release featuring classic characters like Jabba the Hutt. Outlaws faced a number of problems right away, and this goes into just the overall damages with Star Wars as a franchise right now. It's literally a dead franchise. And this is coming from somebody that's a big-time Star Wars fan. I have a lot of Star Wars memorabilia, T-shirts, toys. It's sad to see the state that it's in, to where people are tuned out. People don't care. I mean, Skeleton Key is literally coming out like this week, or Skeleton Crew, and I have no desire to see it. What, Star Wars Stranger Things? Like, I don't give a fuck. So, going on, it says, first, it presented another female-focused Star Wars story to a fan base that has become exhausted by the concept. After the Star Wars sequel trilogy, The Acolyte, Rogue One, Ahsoka, and Season 3 of Mandalorian, a lot of Star Wars fans are burnt out on girl power. And it's not because we hate female protagonists. Female protagonists can be great. Female protagonists can be wonderful. Samus, Lara Croft, fucking Hunger Games. Female protagonists be great if they're relatable characters that have a good backstory and good writing and good traits. Not, oh, just because they're a female, that this person's great. You know, that I can't think of anything that was admirable about K-Vess in Star Wars Outlaws when I played it. She was an average, ugly-looking character. Sure, she might have that Sigourney Weaver type of vibe from Alien, but they definitely uglified her for the fucking game. Now, looking on this, it says the main character of the game, K-Vess, was played by Humberly Gonzalez, who's actually a woke activist that hates gamers. We looked at her tweets. However, the developers tweaked the actress's appearance, making her less conventionally attractive. Many saw this as an intentional virtue signal on the part of Ubisoft and Lucasfilm, which it was. Fans worldwide have noted this trend among AAA games in which female characters are deliberately made less attractive, while male gamers are often overly sexualized. And it's a weird situation that goes on time and time again. It's almost like we can't let straight men enjoy eye candy, right? And we can't have real women in a game be overly sexualized because it offends this modern audience of transgenders and gay and lesbian people that don't want heterosexual attractiveness and romance. That's what it comes down to, guys. That's how all these DEI infected hive mind activists that work on video games, that's what they think. That's how they look at life. Constantly. All the time. So continuing on, this article says there's the fact that the game came from Ubisoft. So Ubisoft cannot win at all this year. They've been fucking up left and right. It says the French developer has had a rough go of things lately, with massive controversy rising from his decision to make a black historical figure the central male protagonist in its upcoming Assassin's Creed Shadows title instead of a Japanese man. And we've been talking about that. We've been covering that for quite some time. And that game itself is in trouble. That game will probably do a lot worse than Star Wars Outlaws. There might be a lot of us rage bait grifters that play the game and stream it just to, milk it for views and stuff. But there's no way in hell, especially when Ubisoft is saying games must sell 10 million copies just to break even. They're wasting so much money on Assassin's Creed Shadows just by delaying it. And they obviously wasted so much money on Star Wars Outlaws. They even put a lot of marketing into Outlaws. But they definitely wasted a lot of money with Star Wars Outlaws to where they're not recouping it. On top of probably having to pay the license for the Star Wars brand. Yeah, they're not making it. Now, this says Ubisoft has also come under fire in the past for perceived predatory microtransactions meant to sap every last nickel and dime from its players. It also didn't help that the game had a disastrous console rollout. Outlaws was incredibly buggy with game-breaking glitches, causing a ton of player frustration. The Ultimate Edition of Outlaws also included early access for players who shelled out the extra money. However, a glitch and subsequent patch caused all early access players to lose their saved game file. Remember that? So they paid for nothing, forcing them to start over from scratch and negating the early access feature they paid for. So imagine you play early access Star Wars Outlaws, and then there's a game-breaking bug that when the patch comes out, it erases your game. So you played those early days for absolutely nothing. And not to mention the price alone was like, what, over $130 fucking dollars? Says Ubisoft recently admitted that Star Wars Outlaws had been a flop for the company, noting that sales had been softer than anticipated while also touting some positive critical scores. Star Wars Outlaws has 1,656 Steam players as of this writing. The game is currently listed at 25% off in the Steam store. So it's already discounted for the holidays. They want to try to push it. They want it to be a long-term system seller, which, yeah, of course, you want your games to do successful, especially when you invested a lot of development time, a lot of money. But this ain't going to cut it, Chief. 2,500 concurrent players, not even hitting that on Steam. Plus, who knows how many people are left still playing it on console. I have no personal interest to go back and check any of the new expansion. I'm over it. I got my achievements already. I'm absolutely done with this game. It was average. It was so-so. Nothing to go home and write about. And Ubisoft is in a deep hole right now. They have to fucking climb out somehow. I don't think Assassin's Creed Shadow is going to do it. Because it just snowballs. Look how bad this is doing. It's going to snowball to Assassin's Creed Shadow. So Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you're brand new. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much. See ya.